the PlayStation 5 VR headsets. Not going to be available yet until they can actually get more consoles out, from what I remember. But it's coming. This means players will be able to play their PS5 games that are virtual reality ready or virtual reality only, be able to play them instead of having them sit there and not being played. This is great because I've personally seen what the PSVR is like, because I've watched a friend play it and it looks amazing. PC VR is along the same lines, but it's compatible with PCs. Not sure if it's compatible with PlayStation 5 because I've never tried. They're now starting to introduce virtual realities for home theatre systems. Now this is brilliant because this will allow you to experience a film in more in-depth, immersive, real-life action of a film. Because it will trick your mind into thinking you're actually there, you're actually doing the actions on the screen. Now this bit also ties in with the cinemas. I don't know if anyone's heard. That's good. The IMAX and Odeon cinemas. Now, I will be talking about this a little bit further on in this set of slides, and we'll go from there on the cinemas. Now, moving on to education. Education is using virtual reality to enable students to have a more immersive feel of learning, with a hands-on approach, allowing the students to learn more and get a feel for how something was back in, I don't know, World War II, if there is one. What it was like to be an evacuee, or medieval times, or visiting different countries without leaving the classroom. It is a step forward in this industry, and I think it'll be amazing when it's released, or when it's more common in schools. Game development. Now, game development is also relying on VR because it's allowing game developers to see how their game, if it's a VR game they're working on, to see how that is being processed and how it will function, how it will run. Is there any glitches? Is there any nicks or clips that need fixing in the game? It'll also allow the players to experience a better gameplay of how the game should be played. Right. Now moving on to space and military. I've combined these two because of the fact that I won't be surprised if anyone didn't know of this, but VR has been around since the 1960s. Shocker, I know. The space industry have been using virtual reality to help train new astronauts, new technicians, scientists, when they're aboard the International Space Station. But before the International Space Station, the VR was mainly used for training the astronauts when they were firing up the shuttles. So before they took to fly the shuttle, they had to use a virtual model and be able to fly it. This is alongside what we have now with flight simulations, which I will talk about further later. The military have been using it since the 1960s. This is also helping them learn now, teaching soldiers, pilots, and drivers to do how they do their job effectively. NASA have been using it since the 1990s. So it's been around, VR, virtual reality, has been around longer than we thought. Way before we thought. Architecture. Now moving on to architecture. The architecture industry has been using VR for a while. It's being used for a more immersive and tactile feel to how, say, a brand new house is going to look and feel, what's going to be in the house, where things are going to be laid out. Depending on what type of VR set you've got, you can also have a walking platform where you can walk around the house, open doors, windows, cupboards, you name it. This allows the user to see how their house will look when it's finished, fully built and finished. Right, the next slide is going to be areas. No, uses of VR.